Hi guys, today I'm going to explain everything about crafting, what to get, who to get it from, how and why to use it, so everything lines up perfectly. To avoid messing up, what's worth expecting or doing and what isn't. How to get the perfect item and whether it's worth it. New off here. Let's go through everything step by step. A couple of words about the basics. Crafting becomes available after unlocking all tempering recipes through leveling, reaching Tournament 1 via the pit, and gaining access to farming Occultist in the Infernal Hordes. The game has legendary items and ancestral legendaries after Tournament 1. These are legendaries but with a star or several stars. These are the items you can fully craft with the Occultist and the Blacksmith. Then there are uniques and mythics, also called Uber items. With these we can only do processing at the Blacksmith. As always, let's look at a specific example. Today it's an amulet, starting with the Occultist. The Occultist is where we begin crafting. The first step is changing one unwanted stat into a useful one. This is done in the 4th tab. On the left we can select one stat to replace and swap it for one of the options available in the tooltip. In our case, 3 options work for us: Glass Cannon, Inner Flame, or Permafrost, naturally with a value of 2. We'll remove max life. Note, after the first action with an item, whether with the Occultist or Blacksmith, you get a message saying the item becomes account bound and can no longer be traded or sold. There's no limit to the number of attempts, but the cost increases every time. It cost me 39 million. I didn't count the number of attempts. Now we go to the same guy's first tab for the aspect we need. In the codex we can search for the aspect by its name or any fragment of its description. Found it, selected it, imprint. Aspects are added to the codex when we salvage unneeded legendaries at the Blacksmith. They keep piling up and improving their tier during the game. Next we go to the Blacksmith, who handles tempering using tempering recipes we unlock while leveling from 1 to 60. How to level correctly to get everything is covered in a separate video, link in the description. During tempering, we can add 2 stats from 2 different categories to a legendary item. Usually gear has 2 categories, but amulets have 5. Different gear types have different categories and stat options. You can only roll 1 stat from each category. If you select another from the same category, it replaces the previous one. 1 stat per category, no exceptions. Note 1. It's only worth working on ancestral items. Non-starred items are temporary and won't stay with you for any meaningful amount of time. So, on regular items, we don't try to fish for max values. Note 2. A regular legendary has 5 tempering attempts. 1 star gives 6, 2 greater affixes give 7, 3 give 8 total attempts across both stats. So, we select the category and subcategory of properties where the stat we need for our build is located. Tempering is an attempt to get the stat we need out of 3. After each choice, we need to reselect the category and subcategory. This is because with each new attempt, we're choosing a new property. Or maybe the devs just love making us strain our eyes and click unnecessarily. I haven't decided yet. That's sarcasm. Honestly, why the devs didn't add the obvious feature of reusing the last selected subcategory without all these extra clicks? It's a mystery. Just kidding, no mystery. Blizzard just always makes terrible, poorly thought out interfaces. After each tempering attempt, a window pops up with forging animations and sounds. Very pretty and impressive visuals. Click skip fast and check the result. We have X attempts for each property. The number of attempts is shown both in the Blacksmith's interface and on the item itself. Each property has a value range and it can roll at the minimum. Depending on the remaining attempts, we decide whether to try for a better result or not. When attempts run out and the result isn't satisfactory, there's a backup option, a scroll of restoration. It gives us another X tempering attempts. X is as described above. The scroll can only be used once per item. We get the scroll guaranteed from the top chest in the Infernal Hordes. Right-click the scroll, go to the item tab, and left-click the item. Now, we have an additional X attempts to change or improve either of the 2 properties. As you might guess, getting the desired max tier stats in 16 attempts on a top tier item doesn't happen with the first item or even always with the second. And good items themselves drop very rarely. Ah, the burden, or rather, the cost of being a top ladder player. Next phase, Masterworking. It's only available for items that already have 2 tempered stats. Regular legendaries can be upgraded to +8, but that's rarely needed. You'll know when it's worth doing. For example, gloves with 2 out of 3 top-tier stats like attack speed, crit chance, or crit damage already near max range. Chances of getting these are low. In general, use +8 only if you play actively and don't have resource issues. But early in the season, everyone has resource issues. So, Masterworking. Each upgrade increases all 5 item stats by 5% each. Every 4th, 8th, and 12th upgrade also boosts 1 random stat by 1 tier equals 25%. First tier, blue stat, 2 tiers in the same stat. Yellow, and 3 tiers in 1 stat. Orange. If the upgrade hits the wrong stat, you can reset. You can reset Masterworking as many times as you want, but it costs some resources in gold. Usually, any build planner marks which affixes are recommended to hit 3 times. So, if the first tier lands on the wrong stat, reset and start over. Everything said above about Masterworking applies to uniques and mythics too. Masterworking works exactly the same as on legendaries and for the same price. I wanted to show in detail how much each item costs in resources and gold, but changed my mind. Look, it varies wildly. One item gets an orange stat after 10 rolls, another might take 100. I have it all written down. Armor costs 200 millions gold. Gloves, 600. Talrasha's ring, 62 millions. Amulet, 633, and so on. All required crafting materials are shown directly in the interface. At one point resources were tight, but now if you play at least 1 hour a day, you won't have shortages. The whole balance of Diablo 4 is tuned for players who play 5 to 10 hours per week. Crafting materials come from salvaging items and various activities. Each material shows where to get it. Tip: all of them drop naturally during gameplay. You can see how many I had left after finishing mid-tier gear crafting on screen. I'm showing and explaining so there's no confusion. Here's a quick look at my gear after 170 hours, over 32 days, in Season 8. Okay, that's 5+ hours a day. But I got 3 to 4 times more resources than needed. So for gear like mine, you'd need to play about 70 hours in a season, even for beginners. But the key word is play, not stand in town staring at stuff. With a 90-day season, playing 70 to 90 hours isn't a problem at all. If you want everything perfect like in the planners, either play 10 hours a day or watch the previous video about trading. It also covers gear and gold. Some people's comments, why do I play 2 hours a week and don't have gear or materials? It sound really weird. Overall, for my entire gear set, every single piece, it took roughly 250,000 obdusite and 3 to 4 billion gold. You can farm obdusite in Nightmare Dungeons, Infernal Horde, and Kurast Undercity. Where and how to farm it efficiently is covered in a separate video, link in the description. Again, all other materials are not rare. There's plenty of everything. The main source of crafting materials is salvaging gear at the Blacksmith. People often talk about forgotten souls, but I don't see the problem. They drop in many places and in decent amounts. Of course, there are targeted farming methods for crafting materials. They're not very relevant right now, but maybe I'll cover them another time. We also have Mythic Crafting. You can craft random mythics at the Blacksmith. It costs 2 sparks and 50 mil gold each. I've crafted about 10 random mythics at the Blacksmith. 8 were trash, 1 armor, and 1 was the Shaco I needed. At the Jeweler, you can craft specific mythic items. It costs 1 spark and 18 runes, 3 types, 6 of each. You can see which runes you need by right-clicking the item you want to craft. This season I crafted 5 mythic items at the Jeweler. All of them were Harlequin crests. None had a cooldown reduction star. All trash. As promised, here's how many runes I farmed for Mythic Crafting. Quick answer, about 100 hours for 1 specific mythic at the Jeweler. The longer answer, legendary runes are rare. I farmed Lacanton for 6 crafts. I had to buy Yum. But according to the Season 9 PTR patch notes, the drop chance of legendary runes has slightly increased. How that turns out, I'll let you know next season. The ring dropped from one of the Uber bosses, like the other 20+ mythic items I salvaged. That's it. Glad you stopped by. Thanks and see you soon.